I'm making a big mistake by talking about this, man. Am I gonna jinx it? Am I gonna manifest it? Who really knows? Either way, nobody wins, because the Edmonton Oilers are down 2-0 in the Stanley Cup Finals, and Connor McDavid said this: "I'm looking forward to people doubting us again." And that, of course, was the quote of the century for the Oilers fan base. Okay, not the century, maybe the decade, when it comes to this appearance and this finals run. A few years ago, the Oilers made the third round and embarrassed themselves by not winning a single game against Colorado. Now, they're down 2-0 against Florida. Game 3 at home is a must-win game. They cannot afford to lose this one. If they're not coming back down from 2-0, they sure as hell are not coming back from being down 3-0. But when it comes to a lot of the Oilers believers, yeah, they're right in there. Never quit believing, never stop cheering till the final buzzer of the final game, and then they say, yeah, I'll be cheering after that buzzer too. A lot of people going out there talking about the Oilers, and of course, I mean, our hockey and our Edmonton Oilers have very different opinions. I wanted to go out there and break this entire thing down. Let's talk about the idea of a comeback. Let's talk about the historical factors. Let's talk about whether or not the Oilers can do it and what needs to happen for that to go through. Starting out with this thread, what do the Oilers need to do to have a chance at a comeback in Game 3 against Florida? And the top reply is, yeah, they need to score. Sorry, but that's about it. They do need to do that, and the reason I like this reply is because when it comes to the Oilers and their ability to score, they've got 1 goal in 2 games so far. This is going to relate very heavily to some traumatic flashbacks that I'm going to bring up in this video as it goes on, but when it comes to being able to score, really, that is it. KK Slider goes out there and says, like, we can say all the hockey cliches, simplify the shots, nothing fancy, pucks on net, but the truth is, if our star forwards can't figure out how to generate some offense and start getting a few past Bob, it doesn't matter how good or bad Skinner is. It doesn't matter if Nurse or Bouchard or whoever make bad mistakes. You can't rely on a defenseman slipping a single puck pass and then coasting it out for 50 minutes. If McDavid and co can't start producing, the lines below him stand no chance, and we are toast. Let's hope they solve the riddle that is Bobrovsky soon. And honestly, it's not even just Bobrovsky that you have to worry about, it's the entire Florida Panthers defensive structure, the way Ekblad and Forsling have been tantalizing McDavid, how Alex Barkov has been matching up against him, how the Oilers' defensive structure is so good that it makes Bob's job really easy. Like, the only goal that Sergei Bobrovsky let in was a weird 5-hole shot that wasn't really a characteristic Bobrovsky goal. All the other pucks that have been thrown his way, the ones that are high danger, okay, yeah, Bob saves those, but they haven't had, the Oilers that is, they haven't had too many of those high danger opportunities. Throw pucks high at the net, Spiritual Gangster goes out there and says. You're not going to get highlight reel goals against these guys. Stop with the long cross-ice passes. They have the lanes covered and it just leads to turnovers. Quit trying to be clever and just clear the puck from our D-zone. The big one that I've seen, start rocking these guys in their zone exits. The number of Panthers I've watched skate out of their own zone looking at their skate laces is crazy. Put 1 or 2 in their ass? Okay, that sounds really, no comment on that, and maybe we can shake them off their game a little bit. Yeah, the Florida breakout has been awesome, and ultimately, the Oilers are going to have to find a way to navigate these rush chances and the opposing rush the opposite way too, if they want to have a chance at coming back against Florida in Game 3. Now, enough of the breakdowns, enough of the fan sentiment. Let's go out there and talk about some of the other ideas as they pertain to the Oilers. This is what Jack Michaels went out there and said. The commentator, just an absolute beautiful voiceover here. I heard it at 2-9-1. I heard it at 5-12-1. When Vancouver led 1-0, 2-0, and 3-2. When Dallas led 2-1 and 2-0 in Game 4. I can assure you, the Oilers are not going away now either. Forget the officiating. Do what Florida did. Hold serve at home, make it a best of 3, and there are 18,347 fans ready to help. Now, of course, this is all, nice battle cry music stuff. This is all great speeches to go on in the locker room, but when it comes to the idea of coming back after rebounding from a 2-0 Stanley Cup final deficit, I wanted to bring up this traumatic Instagram post because it goes out there and pretty much highlights everything that I cried myself to sleep in 10 years ago. Of course, the cover picture from ESPN is McDavid and Chara. Let's go out there and take a look at NHL teams that won the Stanley Cup after facing a 0-2 series deficit in the final. You had the 2011 Boston Bruins, the 2009 Pittsburgh Penguins, the 1971 Montreal Canadiens, the 1996 Montreal Canadiens, and the 1942 Maple Leafs, whom I believe were down 3-0? Something like that. Point is, this 2-0 series deficit has only been done twice in the past, 50 years? And it's kind of funny because 2 of those were in the span of 2 years. 2009 Penguins against Detroit and the 2011 Bruins against the Vancouver Canucks. And when you talk about the way the games have been going between Florida and Edmonton and compare and contrast that to Boston, Vancouver in 2011, this is where I start to get a little bit worried, because if you remember the 2011 Stanley Cup Finals series, a lot of what you're seeing in Edmonton, Florida kind of went down in the same way with this series here. In the 2024 Stanley Cup Finals, Florida won Game 1, 3-0, shutout, very tight game, but the Oilers were so good, and then in Game 2 they won with only 1 goal against. What happened in 2011? Well, the first game, Vancouver won this one 1-0. Very close game. Raffi Torres scored with 19 seconds to go, assisted by Jannik Hansen and Ryan Kessler. A lot of penalties in this one. Neither the Canucks nor the Bruins could end up actually getting power play goals. But it was a tight game, shutout victory for Vancouver, and then in Game 2, it was another tight game. This one was an overtime victory, 3-2. Alexander Burrows takes the great wraparound chance against Tim Thomas, who overcommits and loses his netting. What happened after these 2 games? Well, in Game 3, the Boston Bruins absolutely destroyed Vancouver. 0 goals in the first period, but they scored 8 in the remaining 40 minutes. I'm not saying that Edmonton is going to do this, but I'm saying that if Edmonton does do this, I wouldn't be surprised. The Oilers are so talented, they have so much skill and so much ability that them scoring only 1 goal in 2 games seems like a fluke. But then you realize, hey, it's the Stanley Cup Finals, and the Panthers have kind of built their entire team for this. This is the plan. They want to keep down the amount of Oilers' chances on the rush and the opportunities that are high danger on Sergei Bobrovsky. It's been working, but if Edmonton cracks the code, if they figure out a way to bounce back and take control of Game 3, if they have a 3, 4, 5 goal period like the Bruins did in 2011, then they could really put themselves back in this series. Even if they're down 2-0 right now, all it takes is 1 game to go back 2-1, and then another game to make it 2-2. This is where the Boston Bruins came alive. For some reason, they played so well on home ice, and the Canucks stunk, and then in Game 5, the Canucks won 1-0, yet another shutout victory for Roberto Luongo, and then you had yourselves Game 6, where the Canucks lost, and then Game 7, where the Canucks lost. This was the last time it happened, a Stanley Cup finalist team going down 2-0 and inevitably winning. 2011 Boston, can the Oilers do the same thing? I know I said in my prediction video that I think the Panthers were going to win this series in 7, but I didn't think it would be like this lopsided. A 2-0 lead is almost a death sentence. I mean, it's only been accomplished 5 times, this Stanley Cup Finals rebounding situation. And the games, honestly, were pretty tight for the most part. The first game, Edmonton probably should have won that one, but Sergei Bobrovsky stole it. The second game, the Panthers looked like the much better team. So the third game, we'll take a look at what happens here, but for now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do the Oilers have what it takes to come back and make this series interesting? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.